The OPXY is a very powerful instrument. When you use a nicer microphone and you record it into the OPXY, you really do hear the difference. It will take whatever quality that you give to it. So I thought it would be very interesting if when I make these videos, I use some of the nicest microphones that I have, because I should be using them. Those microphones need 48 volts power. I have all 4 microphones plugged into the Zoom. A pair of Schoeps MK21 microphones. They're very wide cardioids. They're a bit like a half an Omni pattern. And then I have 2 Schoeps MK5 capsules, which are switchable capsules. So this one that you're listening to right now is on the cardioid pattern. That one is on the Omni pattern. So all 4 of these are plugged into the Zoom F8. The headphone jack is going out and into the OPXY. And then the output on the OPXY is being split. One split is going into the headphones. One split is going back into the Zoom. This would usually cause, obviously, a feedback loop. A terrible one. It isn't, because I went inside the Zoom F8 and I took channels 7 and 8, where the output of this is going, and isolated it from the headphone output. What I hear through the headphones, or rather what's going into the OPXY, is only the microphones. This, however, is still being recorded back in. Actually, it's all being recorded at once, just in case I wanted one of those signals isolated, but it's not causing a feedback loop because I've isolated 7 and 8 from the headphone channel. That's where we're at right now. This process would allow you to have a bunch of channels of recorded audio. I kind of prefer that really the only important audio be the audio that comes out of this, just those last 2 channels. So I have turned on pass-through audio from the input. The audio coming out of this preamp is going in here, and it is something I can hear live while I work on other tracks, while it plays, while I do anything, with the exception of the recording function. When I use the recording function, the pass-through is turned off and the input is going directly in as a recorded signal. The entire time I hear the signal, and I can create the production live while you hear every process. So that's how I created this past video that maybe you will see. Other interesting thing is that I've got 4 microphones here, so I'm sort of using this as a bit of a mixer. I can turn up or down these microphones and get a signal, or remove the signal from the microphones I'm not using at the moment, so that I'm not sampling through 4 microphones at a time when I only need 2 or I only need 1. I'll sort of demonstrate how that sounds. This entire time you have been listening through the Schoeps MK5, through the OPXY. But now let's switch to something else. I'm going to turn this one down. Now you only hear through these. So that's just these microphones right here. I set the Omni up because I was going to be adding some violin tracks, but otherwise this is actually a very simple setup. Maybe it's not simple, I'm not sure. But it is very interesting regardless. You could use this for live streaming purposes while also recording your live stream. You could do all sorts of things. So as you can hear, you can listen through these microphones right now while I also play you what's happening on the OPXY. It's very interesting.